As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good evening, my beautiful people of YouTube. I'm coming on the other computer, but I'm hoping that the visuals has still got my face pretty dark in here. I don't know why. It is what it is. It's nice to see everybody this evening. If you guys were with us for our morning show, we are going back to the beginning of the Sebastian Rogers case. This is a 15-year-old boy that disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and has not been seen or heard from again. Where we left off this morning was we were at the date, February 26th, and reading all the news articles and all the clips from local media related to this case. And one thing that we learned is this case was very perplexing from the very beginning. I am going back to the case. We are reviewing all mainstream media accounts of this case. Good evening, y'all. I see you all coming in here. It's nice to see you. I could really use your prayers. I have cervical radical, I don't know what that is, and my BP and heart rate absolutely. Dream of blue skies, sandy beaches. Absolutely. We'll definitely say a prayer for you today. And anybody else that, not only you, but other people are struggling in our chat with all types of ailments from, your ailments, as well as we've got cancer. We've had many surgeries in here. I've got mods, but it seemed like there for a while every one of my mods were having surgery. So God bless you. I hope everything works out, and that you have a speedy recovery from everything that you're going through. Thanks for sharing that with us. I'm certain that other people are right there with you. So it's always good when you know you're not alone. So it's nice to see you, Tony, up in the chat. We're going over again this morning. We came to what had happened. This child had gone, from what everybody knew, this child walked out of his home from between midnight and 6 a.m. on February 26th, and they were trying to find Sebastian. We had gotten up right to about where Eric Craddock was playing the Eye of the Tiger, trying to see if there was something that, because of their presence, they were scared at this moment that Sebastian was too terrified to come out, and they wanted him to know that they were there to help. It was expressed during this time over and over and over again for everybody to look at their camera footage. It was very imperative and very important for this investigative body to get a hold of as much footage from Ring doorbell cameras, Blink doorbell cameras, CCTV footage, anything and everything. They were making the call to the whole county to check their outbuildings, check their surveillance footage, find out what was going on. We also learned they started out the original search area to 2.5 miles. That was extended. That's about where we left off from this morning. I heard a crime detective retired. He said letting cases go cold and reopening LE gets grants to go toward that. Interesting concept. Well, I'd rather, maybe the governor just give them money if they need money, right? Allocate money for this case if that's what they need, instead of having to play funding games with a 15-year-old child, if that's the case, which I'm hoping that that's not the case. But you never know. We don't know what the financial situation of this particular county is. We don't know how much of their budget is going toward law enforcement. I can tell you that some law enforcement probably needs some better training. Better pay always helps. Better benefits. Again, these are things that are for retention of employment, especially in law enforcement. So if they need the funding, they need to request the funding. Hey, Seth, it's nice to see you. If that's the case. So we're going to get started here. I'm trying not to take too much time. I know I'm on a computer, not on the phone, which, I like and don't like all the same. So let me find, here we go. I think this is the one I want right here. I had an opportunity to read some of these before we got started. Some of them we're going to be playing by ear. There we go. This is one, and there was some, I wasn't going to read this one, but there was some good information in this one that kind of I wanted to speak with you guys about. So this one right here, this particular article was from February 27th. So if that tells you how soon, how early we are in this case, like I said, when we start getting stumped and we start hitting walls and we start dealing with all this drama and chaos, we need to get the noise out of our heads and go back to the drawing board and go back to the beginning and make sure we didn't miss anything. So this is one where the investigators are widening the search radius for the missing Henderson teen who suffers from autism on Tuesday. So at this point, we were there on Monday. This is the day he left. They had a 2.5-mile radius. They had about 115 bodies on the ground helping in the search. They didn't really want the public helping. They just wanted the public to check their own properties and outbuildings and check their surveillance. That was the instruction of the deputy chief, Eric Craddock, at the time. So now we're on Tuesday. This is the 27th. Investigators widened the search for the Hendersonville teen on Tuesday. 15-year-old Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was reported missing early Monday from his home in Victoria Place subdivision off Long Hollow Pike near Beech Creek High School. According to a Facebook post by his mother, the autistic teen left the home somewhere between midnight and 6 a.m. on February 26th. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office issued an endangered child alert on Monday. The teen is 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighs about 120 pounds, has dirty blonde hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing glasses, a black, they say sweatshirt, but we know it's a black long sleeve shirt, and black Adidas pants, not necessarily sweatpants. It is unknown if he was wearing shoes or not. There was a interview, we talked about it earlier, where I think it was on Smiley's World. They asked him about, could he have climbed out the window? And they said, not verbatim, I don't recall the exact words. You'll have to go back there and look for yourself if you're looking for exact verbatim language. But it was basically, no, if he went out the window, when he stepped on the mulch with bare feet, he would have had a meltdown or something to that effect. So again, you're going to want to check that on your own. How is everything coming in? Is sound and everything coming in? Hey guys, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way in. Delilah is finally settled down after a very playful day. Holy smokes, this dog. Holy smokes. Let me see if I can pull this up just a little bit bigger. Maybe you guys can see it a little better. It's the, hopefully you guys can see that. I can't see you guys right at the moment, but I did just pop back over there. So here's some interesting stuff, and I'll stop you when I get there. I just want to read everything verbatim so there's no misconstrued or left out information. A command center has been set up at Shackle Island Volunteer Fire Department just down the street of the teens' neighborhood. Search and rescue personnel had more than 10 agencies across the state gather there on Monday and Tuesday to help look for Sebastian. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation issued an endangered child alert on Monday. An Amber Alert was issued by the agency around 3:30 in the afternoon on Tuesday. According to Sumner County Emergency Management Agency Director Ken Wider, which we saw an interview with him, I think, closing out the show this morning, where he stated that there's 220 searchers on the ground using special search program in their cell phones on Monday. Widener didn't have an estimate yet for Tuesday, but added the search included 12 canine units, mounted horse patrols, drones, and dive teams on scene. In addition, there were teams on standby should a rescue situation arise, Widener noted. We have pounded the area, he said. Widener said the search efforts haven't included civilians so far. We cannot communicate with 1,000 people, said Widener. We have 220 people on the ground yesterday. We knew where they were, and we were able to communicate with them. We can't do that with civilians. Emergency personnel started searching within the radius of 0.2 of a mile, searching any outbuildings, crawl spaces, and other places a child would or could hide, said Widener. The radius had expanded beyond 2 miles by Tuesday. I still think that was such a small radius, but again, I digress, because this is the reason why. Statistically, this child should be within 0.2 of a mile from his house, noted Wider, who remained optimistic given his agency's track record. So they've got the statistical findings. You guys see the maps. We heard about programs to help people track people, and it's fairly accurate. And so they're saying that this child should have been within 0.2 of a mile from his home. Okay, this is from the professionals that do this. We've had 7 finds of either felons or missing persons in the last year with the help of drones and dogs, he said. We've got a pretty good track record of that. So he's basically saying, this is not uncommon for us to track people, felons and missing people alike. We have a good track record. We know the statistics. This child should be in XYZ area. Well, we know this day and age, he was not. Sumner County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy Eric Craddock urges beach residents to check their home surveillance cameras and report any sightings of Sebastian to his office. I think that's what's going to be what breaks this case. I do believe surveillance is going to break this case. And of course, they talk about the eye of the tiger. And he also says there's no indication of foul play at this point. The family has been nothing but cooperative with us. He said we keep an open mind and doing what we can to find Sebastian. So we have on this particular B. Carter, that's I guess the detective that was working the case at that time. I think Carter is still on this case right now, if I'm not mistaken. But it shows you right there that 0.2 of a mile. 0.2 of a mile from his home. And so that's a jagged pill to swallow when you're looking for a kid and you can't find him. Mr. Widener also, he was the one that I saw on video. I'm going to end up finding it through these news organization stuff that we're doing here, where he stated, oh, thank you, Kelly. Kelly, oh, I've got a few things. I missed a bunch. Hold on, let me look at here. Oh, wow, thank you. Forever Nikki gifted 1 Bullhorn Betty membership. Michelle gifted 1 Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received a Bullhorn Betty membership from either one of those, please don't forget to tell them thank you. Ginger, oops, I'm hitting the wrong button. Ginger says, much respect and love. Happy to be here. Oh, well, thank you. And then Kelly. Aw, we got a couple more. Kelly X donated 1 gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, and so did Ginger. Thank you, guys. Much love. Much love. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Widener was on camera basically stating that they have never not found anything. And I remember that clear as day because I didn't quite understand what he was saying until I re-listened to it. And he was basically stating that out of all the searches, our dogs hit and pick up something. So it makes it very hard to believe that this child literally vanished in the middle of the night after walking out of his home and nobody saw him, not the neighborhood cameras that would be picking up even so much as a shadow going into the front door, but picked up nothing. Nothing. The only camera that we know picked up anything other than what has been said by Mrs. Bobby that we know for real, is the camera that produced the flashlight in unidentified, unknown car. That is the only legit video that we've all had an opportunity to see with our own eyes. And of course, in my opinion, one of the reasons why I don't do it is over reviewing a video. Sometimes you start seeing things that aren't there. But in all fairness, the ruckus video was very concerning and could have been something, but then the direction of the light was wrong. The direction of the light wasn't from the outside going through, from the outside going toward the house. It was actually lights from inside the garage, and there was trees and limbs there. I don't think the limbs had leaves on it, but the trees themselves were moving around. And in order for you to pick up a shadow, you have to be between the light source and the backdrop. So it was going the opposite way. So the ruckus video really wasn't a ruckus video. It was actually just the camera picking up the trees on the outside of the garage and the garage having lights on. So... oh, that's okay. That's okay. I really do have a lot of questions, for Miss Bobby because she's such a wealth of information. And honestly, I think she did very, very well. Grace upon grace, Sebastian Strong for Sebastian and Seth. Thank you so much. God bless you. Sebastian Strong. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I hope you got my PayPal. That's the one I don't ever get notifications on for some reason, is my PayPal. So I'll check that. And if I haven't wrote you, I will. I'm so sorry if I haven't. But I try to get back to everybody. I don't check them very often. And quite frankly, all that money just stays there until, it's needed. And I'm hoping I don't need any more and I can start paying down some of the legal debt that I have acquired, so to speak. Well, not so to speak, and legit. So here's another one, details. We're going to watch the video, but I like to read because I find that there's more information in the print versus the video. The videos are clipped for whatever segment they're doing on the news, but the articles that are written are more lengthy and have more information, kind of just like a book, right? When you watch a movie, they cut a lot of details that were in the book out of it. But when you read the book, you get a lot more details than what was in the movie and gives you a little bit more context or more information. So it's the same way with these news articles. An Amber Alert has been issued by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations for the 15-year-old Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers in Sumner County. Sebastian disappeared from his home either late Sunday night or early Monday morning and was reported missing by his family. The teen lives with his biological mother and stepfather. His biological father is also a deputy with Davidson County Sheriff's Office, according to Sheriff Darren Hall. Despite massive search efforts, crews have not found a trace of the child. Sebastian is 5'5", 120 pounds, and has brown hair and brown eyes, and was wearing a black sweatshirt and black sweatpants and eyeglasses. He's autistic and may not have been able to return safely without assistance. And, this statement is said in multiple articles. He is autistic and may not be able to return safely without assistance. And that just keeps ringing in my head every time we read it in these articles or something to that effect. because it just gives more weight and frustration when we find out that this boy's mom and stepfather took off in the middle of search efforts to go out of state, knowing their child had no medication, was autistic, and would most likely need assistance to get back to their home. It just gives another level of frustration and what the F. Authorities upgraded this case from an endangered child alert to an Amber Alert on Tuesday. Typically, Amber Alerts are issued when the child is in imminent danger of serious bodily injury or death. Amber Alerts are also issued if a child is believed to be a victim of foul play or abducted. It is important to note that at this point, authorities have not said there is any evidence of foul play. Now, I don't know if you guys watched the Lore Lodge, but the Lore Lodge actually did another video on a different case, but took a moment to explain the difference between no evidence of foul play and no foul play involved. Big difference, I think, is what it was. I'll have to go back. I may actually play that tomorrow morning on our show in the morning so everybody can get the context of the Lore Lodge and his concept of this, because it seemed like a lot of people are basically saying that there's no evidence, there's no foul play involved. That's not what law enforcement is saying. They're saying there's no evidence, but I disagree with that all the way around, because that light video, to me, that light video shows evidence of foul play. That's just me. Now, I'm not law enforcement. I'm not the one that is running this investigation. I'm just simply stating that, to me, that is evidence of foul play. Why do I say that? Because this child left his home that night somewhere between the night of the 25th and in the morning of the 26th. Somewhere in between there, this child disappeared from that home. And normally it would not be bothersome or worrisome. But when you know a child disappeared from a home and you see a light event going to an unmarked car, an unknown car, and only one of those light sources going back toward the home, and then the next morning a child's missing, to me, that implies foul play. That implies somebody was moving around this child's home at night, right before he allegedly disappeared, right in the time zone of midnight and 6 a.m. when he disappeared. So again, tomato, tomato. Tomato, tomato. Let's see what they have. I don't know if this video goes with it or not. I don't even know if you guys can hear it, because you know how my stuff is. You know, you never know if you're going to get sound or not. I'm sorry, it just is what it is. I don't like it like that, but clearly I don't know how to hook up my sound card. I mean, I can get it to work on properly on my MacBook, but definitely not on this one. And this is supposed to be a very souped up computer. But that's okay. I'll have to find out how to get everything to work. I'll do some research. If anybody knows, please let me know. Okay. Let's see. We have sound.
Hey, I wanted to, before we go to our first break, and I know you're not probably directly involved in any way. And by the way, we'll take some phone calls. But you've heard about this case where the autistic child, a 15-year-old, is missing out of Sumner County. The Sheriff's Department, the TBI involved. I think he went missing maybe a couple days ago.
It's the Sheriff's Office, but keep going.
Oh, gosh. Sheriff's Office. I was going to say, by the way, I was going to send you this past weekend, besides the money, several posts from around the state that have been sent to me where the Sheriff's Office, and I get an exception here. It says, anyone who has information, please contact the Sheriff's Department. And the sheriffs themselves are writing this. Well, it's all out there. I mean, and he's correct. It is Sheriff's Office. And the problem is it continues to perpetuate among sheriffs themselves. calling it department at a lot of sheriff's offices across the state. What's with that? I mean, you are hardcore on this, and I owe you money every time I say that. But the reason sometimes I go back is I keep seeing it referred to as...
So if Huey came home when he was in school and said everybody else is doing it, did you allow him to?
Well, no, but when the sheriffs themselves refer to their place of employment as department, I defer to, if you work there, I mean, I'm like, well, you're the sheriff. That's what you want it to be called. What am I supposed to do? Call them out? That's their choice, I guess, right?
Well, sure.
I mean, they're the top dogs there. Yes, I
All
would.
right,
If,
let's.
I'm not just because everyone else does it, but who's to say that you're correct and all these other sheriffs are wrong?
Look it up. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean,
why do they call them? It's in news releases. It's funny. I was going to send it to you. I go, take a look at this. Okay. I'm just curious, when it goes out in a bolo, and as it is now, it's going on its third day of not finding this child. And the child, in my belief, could still, as an autistic child, be hiding somewhere, still be fearful. You always wonder at what point in the game, the consideration of maybe some type of foul play, which they have not said is the case yet. But do you ever have, if a neighboring county, when this happens, is there any involvement? And I'm sure the police department or the sheriff's office here, are you even aware of this? Would you have any contact with the sheriff there? Like, well, we can keep our eye out here in Davidson County. Have you heard anything at this point on this?
It's a good question. A couple things. One that you would want to know: the birth father of this child works for us in this situation. Now, I don't know the relationship. There's a lot of
This, I'll tell you what date this was. I think it was the 27th or 28th.
conversation about that, but he is an officer with us, been here a year or so. That's not information from him coming to us. We understand that that's the case. We always get asked to participate and help in these types of situations.
So now you're talking about, it looks like this is corroboration that Seth works for them. Okay? Just thought I'd throw that out there in case people didn't hear it. Maybe I should just go back just a little bit. Let me just go back just a little bit for the people in the back, that are like me, hard of hearing. Hold on, let me get back just a tad, just a smidge. Just a smidge. Why won't it let me play now? Ah! It won't let me play! It's stuck. Give me a second. Don't tell me I gotta listen to another commercial. Dad, burn it. We'll go back to, it's not even showing. Let's refresh. Maybe this will help. We might have to listen to another commercial, but we'll listen to it again. We'll happily listen to it again. I don't even see anything on it. What is world's going on here? There we go. Still looks grayed out for some reason. I wonder if it's because I'm not a member. Okay, I'm not going to stop it anymore. We're going to play it for the full 14 minutes. You guys are bearing with me. It's probably kicking a lot of problems out. Okay. Hopefully it's almost to the end.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, before we go to our first break, and I know you're not probably directly involved in any way.
It's great. I don't know why it's great.
But
this is
you've
insane.
heard about this case where the autistic child, the 15-year-old, is missing out of Sumner County. The sheriff's department, the TBI involved. I think he went missing maybe a couple days ago.
It's the sheriff's office, but keep going.
Oh gosh, sheriff's.
It won't even let me fast forward now.
I was going to send you this past weekend. Besides the money, several posts from around the state that have been sent to me, where the sheriff's office. And I get an exception here. It says, anyone who has information, please contact
we'll go to a new
the sheriff's department.
Browser, or not any browser,
and the sheriffs themselves are writing this. It's all out there. I mean, and he's correct.
Give me just a second.
Office, and
it won't let me. This link's not working for me. Let me go to a different link. Maybe this one will work. This one looks like it'll work. Sorry, guys. Technical issues. I don't know how to get around it. Maybe I need to go to OBS. I don't freaking know. All I know is things just aren't working for me for some reason. All right, let's try it again. Let's try it 3 times the charm, baby. 3 times the charm.
Of your future and finding that next step. At Liberty, you'll find more ways than one to get there. Over 600 online programs, one you, infinite possibilities.
I think they do this just to make sure they get it.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, before we go to our first break, and I defer to, if you work there, I mean, I'm like, well, you're the sheriff. That's what you want it to be called. What am I supposed to do? Call them out? That's their choice, I guess, right?
Well, sure.
I mean, they're the top dogs there. Yes, I would. If I'm not just because everyone else does it, but who's to say that you're correct and all these other sheriffs are wrong?
Look it up. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean,
why do they call them? It's in news releases. It's funny. I was going to send it to you. I go, take a look at this.
No, I agree with. Of course, I was the president of the National Sheriff's Association.
So you would know.
There's a great.
It's an office.
But it offends me more when someone in the office does it. And these, where you've got a Metro Police and a sheriff's, office. It's confusing. But
there's
out
a
there,
reason.
It's fun to do. We cut up even with the sheriffs. I mean, there's been around the country. There's some who say it themselves.
Sheriff's office.
Because you've never messed up and said police office when I've been on here.
Exactly. That's right, because then you never hear it in releases. That's what they call themselves. But there's a,
Oh, get over it.
The sheriff's office in Sumner County is involved with the search.
Sorry, guys.
I'm just curious, when it goes out in the bolo, and as it is now, it's going on its third day of not finding this child. And the child, in my belief, could still, as an autistic child, be hiding somewhere, still be fearful. You always wonder at what point in the game, the consideration of maybe some type of foul play, which they have not said is the case yet. But do you ever have, a neighboring county when this happens? Is there any involvement? And I'm sure the police department or the sheriff's office here, are you even aware of this? Would you have any contact with the sheriff there? Like, well, we can keep our eye out here in Davidson County. Have you heard anything at this point on this?
It's a good question. A couple things. One that you would want to know: the birth father of this child works for us in this situation. Now, I don't know the relationship. There's a lot of conversation about that, but he is an officer with us, been here a year or so. That's not information from him coming to us. We understand that that's the case. We always get asked to participate and help in these types of situations. Some version of it. It could be, will you assist in helping? We have 2 staff members who work for us who have, in their private life, they have dogs that search, and so they go out, volunteer their time. They've been up there the whole time helping on their own. But we have to be really careful because it's their private dog. It's not the sheriff's office stuff, but they volunteer in doing that. We have other folks on our special operations response teams who go out and volunteer their time and help. Where it gets a little weird is and it's usually through the Office of Emergency Management for Davidson County that's also working with Sumner County. That's how we get connected to it. Where we have some issues is, and this sounds real petty, but sending people who are getting paid to do a job here over into other counties and do it. So it's I hate to say it, it's almost a volunteer situation.
Okay.
Because we don't have the equipment.
But you're kind of a camaraderie, the fraternity. You help each other when you can.
Right. And
they volunteer, I bet. They do so.
Right. And we would even do some where you're on the clock doing it. It just always is a weird deal because what happens if it's Murray County? What happens if you just keep going? And so we've had this conversation. We've had some people up there volunteering. We have some other folks who are kind of in wait to do certain things, but it's just a show of force. It's extra eyes and ears. I mean, we don't have any special skills that would help you in any way, but we usually work through OEM, who is working through OEM out of Sumner County, and I think, just like you, it's a scary situation each day that goes by and you don't see something.
And it's interesting you would say this. Our understanding was that the boy's biological parents are separated or no longer married, and I think his mother may have remarried and he may have a stepbrother now along those lines. Just with regard, and that is interesting that he happens to be a deputy, or is he at this point? I can imagine. Have you talked with him? Is he off now, helping over there? How is he handling this?
I haven't talked to him or about him. It came to me yesterday, the day before, I guess, that the biological father is an officer with us, but I think he's been here about a year or so. But other than that, I don't know much of the relationship. And again.
Would he take time off? Would you give him time off?
Sure. I mean, he and I would assume if again, this is a weird situation because it's not him saying, "Hey, I need off. My son is missing." That's not happened yet that I know of. But and we have 1,000 employees, so it's a little hard and hard for us to even know that. We have a woman who handles our retention, basically works with people who are going through all sorts of issues, and she did put it out I understand yesterday to our some of our folks to let them know
Maybe,
that he is, actually the biological father. So that was all brewing yesterday. We had folks who were up there, like I said, with their dogs. We've had other folks who were kind of in crews or that are potentially going to help. It just kind of depends on what we're doing and what we're looking for. And we always get in the situation of, are we on the clock paying people to go on our teams, or are we doing volunteer work? And it's just kind of if it's in the county, usually it's on the payroll. It just gets a little hairy as to, and we're short-staffed, and we're paying
Might be
overtime
getting a
here to
little
send
hazy
people up
on your
there.
end. Sorry.
It's just hard to decide exactly what's the right thing to do. You want to be a good Samaritan, you want to help, and we do a lot of that. But it would be wrong for me to sit here and say we send people every time someone is missing. We kind of wait and see what our roles need to be, and Amber Alert stuff was going off, of course, all over the place. So
we are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. Davidson County Sheriff Darren Hall's with us. We're going to get to your phone calls in a moment. I just had one quick follow-up question with regard to this missing child in Sumner County. You've handled in the past, or your office has, and your deputies, missing children cases, along probably in partnership with the police department. What is it, and how do you approach it, with a period of time? Right now, the thinking is this child, autistic, perhaps wandered away. But as more time passes, when do you start considering the possibility of other options?
Yeah, and I don't have expertise.
Again, general. I know you're not involved in Sumner.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking back as we were waiting to come back on, but I remember, this was a long time ago, I remember our staff, going out searching for Janet March's body. I mean, I'm just going through stories back, and of course the silver alerts. You have a lot of different times where there's people that I think personally that always worries me when you have someone who is very elderly who may not know exactly how to get back, and very unlikely that foul play is in that situation as much as it is just worry that they're lost and can't get. In the children thing, to me, 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours. How can this individual be alive and functioning, at some stage of just the natural needs for an individual. And so, I guess I always think of it this way. It's just extra sets of eyes, bodies walking, talking, asking in the streets. Our staff, just like everyone else, would like to volunteer and help. That's what we do. We're usually a part of a large team sweeping areas. And, but again, look how big an area, and if you don't have some idea of where you're looking, in some simple version of what you're doing, it's incredibly difficult to find.
And entirely possible that the child could have wandered. But I mean, I'm just wondering, to me, and in my career following this, I just don't believe that a child completely vanishes without a trace and is never found. Okay, meaning on their own. And that's my take, is that the longer, and I'm not referring.
I just want to bring to everybody's attention thank you, Kelly, God bless you, how Nick sounds early on in this case and how he sounds today. Polar opposite, right? Polar opposite, in my opinion.
Referring to the Sumner case, it's still early enough that I don't go there. But I'm telling you, if there's no trace of this child found in a week, or even this time next week, I will have serious questions about whether or not foul play was involved. Because
Bingo!
Even if the child is not alive, eventually maybe you find, oh my gosh, wandered into the body of water. We found his body. Oh, how tragic. And you pull him, he wandered in there. Or he fell down a ravine and killed himself. Or something like that. But short of finding anything, that's why I think someone was involved to hide a situation.
Well, right. I mean, at some point, I'm like you. I don't understand how someone, that is not sophisticated, and I'm talking about in living, in a survivalist or something like that. I mean, that's not the case. I mean, how are you going to live, and where are you going to live in today's world where, I don't believe you'd have the skills to accomplish that. Therefore, something tragic or bad is going to happen, or it feels like that as the days go by. And I'm like you. You would think the body would be found if it was a fall or some tragic event in a reasonable area around the house. That's not hard to do.
I disagree, B. I disagree with you because I know the type of pressure that's being applied to people that are opening their minds, that have serious questions. I'm sorry. I totally disagree, B. I'm sorry. And the reason why, and B. Williams, that's who I'm speaking to. I see there's another B in here. I don't think it has to do with more facts. I think it has to do with pressure. because we watched what just happened to me because I disagree with the masses, right? So is it really he has more facts? Because how much more facts does he have that we don't have? Hey, Cheeky Chops, it's nice to see you, my love. How many more facts could he possibly have? He's running off the same information we all have. The difference is some of us have went out there and done investigative reporting, actually found out, the potential time of certain people arriving at work, debunking information, rumors. How much more information could he possibly have? He's going off the same information we all are.
Once that is exhausted, then you have to go to, I think, the next step, which is foul play, and the body is potentially hidden or gone. And I'm just like everyone else. I mean, I can't fathom what that feels like if you genuinely don't know what happened to your child. I just can't imagine what that would feel like. On the other hand, it would be very difficult for me to see a 15-year-old child be able to pull off hiding from people for extended period of time. That's just a very unlikely situation. But I wish and hope for the best. I'm like you. I watch these stories with kind of a parental eye, and then some part of the job I'm in, and then just a citizen who you're sitting there going, man, what in the world?
And when you do go to the idea of foul play, I guess, and I've talked about this in the past, say with the Joe Clyde Daniels case, which in some ways is similar. He was a much younger child, but that what you'll do when you make that transition to maybe looking into the possibility of foul play is then you vet anyone close to, from the parents to the neighbors, to a friend, to the possibility somehow, some way that there is a stranger that maybe picked him up. That's what it is. All options are on the table.
I agree
correct?
with that, Judy.
I would say yes. I think the other thing about that is that begins to take a long time. I mean, a lot of these cases are years. I mean, look at some of this to solve. Once it becomes a potential criminal activity, everything changes. I mean, it is trying to prove and trying to get interviews and trying to get, it's years and years. I mean, sometimes before all that, and that's what right now is trying to hope that the kid is alive and can be saved. That's first. The second part of it is, once you determine or believe it's foul play, everything changes. I mean, from lawyers in the middle of it to, potential, the law enforcement capacity is to prove there was a crime.
So often when there is foul play.
It does sound like that's what we're in, right? I mean, he's describing basically what's going on in this case.
Play, it does come back to someone who's close to the child when there's foul play. And again, I'm not saying that's the case here in Sumner County. One other thing I was going to say, these days so many homes, especially in neighborhoods, have Ring cameras and everything else. Would you imagine part of the investigation is if the child is said to have wandered off, going and canvassing all the homes, including, I don't know about the home when he left, to see if there's any video of him walking along the road and how well they have that covered and whether or not they see him or not.
That and the other thing is I don't know his capabilities with phones, but there's so much of that today in the communication systems, and is it completely shut off? Did he have one? Was he using it? When's the last time? Where? Even if it's just him looking on his phone, that's not super hard to figure out anymore. Where is that device? Those things matter, and I don't know the surroundings, but it amazes me that really everything in this country is being videoed somehow. There's an angle to some camera.
You would think there would be cameras, maybe if he wandered down a road or something. That would be part of it, wouldn't it?
Right.
You'd go check to see if there's video?
Sure. I mean, and even if the police aren't doing that, the neighbors are worried. They're trying to help.
If I lived next door and I had a Ring camera and I heard this, I would go to my camera and say, well, last night, do I see anything?
That's right. And then you would expect, like I said, not even from a criminal investigation, just the kind of the Samaritan and the families around the community are wanting to say, hey, I found this on my video, or even if they didn't tape it, I saw him walking, or you just think you would feel and hear some of that.
So far, nothing.
Hopefully, yeah.
And that's we'll see how it plays out. And I hopes and prayers that this child is found.
The answer is no. I don't. All right, so there you guys have it. I mean, that was Nick Barris. People wanted to know when this was out, and it was done February 28th. February 28th was when this was recorded and produced. And this is another article here. Let me share this tab. There we go. Agencies across Middle Tennessee have been working tirelessly to locate missing Sumner County teen Sebastian Rogers. The search resumed Thursday at around 7 a.m. The first 2 days, crews searched 2,000 miles on foot across Hendersonville. Sumner County EMA Director Ken Widener said Sebastian's home has been searched at least 10 times. Searched, not forensically processed. And officials are continuing to expand the search area. We're operating under this is important. I want you to listen to this statement. This article was written on February 29th. He was missing on the 26th, the 27th, and 28th. Now we're at the 29th. This is day 4. Okay? I want you to listen to this and listen to it very carefully. Listen to the words. We're operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off. I want you to read that very closely. We are operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off. We have no evidence to disprove that. The family has been nothing but cooperative with law enforcement in our investigation. We truly, and I learned what does it mean to be cooperative. And what I've learned is in order to be cooperative with law enforcement, that means when they call, you pick up the phone. That's what their definition of being cooperative is. We are truly operating under the assumption that there is a child missing that needs our help, says Chief Deputy Eric Craddock with the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. The search has primarily been limited to law enforcement agencies, but during a Thursday press conference, Craddock said they are encouraging the community members to search their own properties with a partner at least twice daily and check their trail cameras. We need you to search your properties every day, morning and night, he said. If there's a shed or a crawl space or up under your mobile home or a tarp that's in your yard, check it every morning and every night. Look for any details that something has been disturbed. Now they're trying to find out, they're asking everybody morning and night to see if there's any movement. If they can check for any movement that this child is going through, in and out, walking at night because he's up at night. We learned that from this morning. And so now it's getting to the critical moment where it's been 4 days. They have no evidence that this child walked out of his home. They have no evidence of what in the world happened to this child. And now they're saying we need everybody checking their houses, their outbuildings, their crawl spaces, under their mobile homes, any type of debris in their yard. Check every morning and night because they want to find out if anything's been disturbed. Why? Because this boy would have to, Sebastian Wayne-Drake Rogers, would have to be looking for food, something to drink. There are things that this child would need instinctually. Widener is asking residents to check any creeks, streams, or bodies of water that may be on their property and to check for footprints too. Footprints. Footprints. So by day 4, it sounded like when they originally made the statement that they don't know if this child is barefoot or not, I think that was confirmed that he would be leaving footprints. You don't leave footprints without shoes. You leave shoe prints. So I'm getting a stickler on words. I'm sorry, but I am. Because it is my belief that he had no shoes on and was barefoot. Investigators have reasons to believe that Sebastian may have traveled as far as Clarksville, so they are also checking that route. Why do they believe he traveled to Clarksville? Because that's the only way he would know how to go somewhere. So they're thinking he could possibly be going to his dad's house. In addition, residents in neighboring counties should check their properties. As Widener said, it's possible Sebastian could have made it that far by now. So they're acknowledging that he's most likely out, or could be outside of their search perimeter. The public is still asking to avoid the official command post for now. The sheriff's office said community members should stay tuned for more organized search efforts. We have begun the conversation of coordinating with local volunteer groups should we need them. There's a plan in place, Craddock said. What I don't want is to have 1,000 people out there in the woods, someone get injured, and now we have to deploy resources to them should there be deployed. I don't understand that strategy because you know what? We had 1,000 people show up for J.J. Rollins. You guys remember that? J.J. Rollins here in Florida? We had at least 1,000 volunteers. I mean, when we had to meet at the gas station and get checked in, it literally, the line went down this busy highway. Like the line went down the flippin' highway. And people were standing in line at risk of being hit by a vehicle or debris for this young boy. He was 3 years old and he ran away. Well, he didn't run away. Well, he ran away from home, but it wasn't like he ran away. He got lost is what happened. And they ended up finding him. And how did they find him? Because one person broke away from the pack of where they were sending the cattle. We were the cattle out to search the woods. And this man broke away and used his training to figure out where this boy was, and he was able to find the boy and bring this boy home safely. He stayed out there overnight, this 3-year-old boy. And he was safe. I mean, there was water. There was, this is out in the country. There was, animals, wild animals. And he had mosquitoes and was a little, thirsty. So, but he made it. And that was because 1,000 people showed up. It irritates me. I'm sorry, it does. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation put out a statement Wednesday to explain Sebastian's family was unable to share more details about the missing teen. Understandably, there's an interest in hearing from friends and family to help provide more personal context about Sebastian. However, we have been requested by the family to let local media know that they are not in a position to speak or be available to media at this time. This is a family that wants the world to help and is concerned about their child, but is telling TBI to put out a statement on their behalf. Again, I'm not even going to discuss my personal viewpoints on that. You guys know my personal viewpoints on that. Officials put out a call Wednesday for as many mounted patrols as possible, with Henderson Police and Wilson County Sheriff's Office sending extra horses to help. This is the important part. However, as the search continues Thursday in 40-degree temperatures, there was still no sign of Sebastian. Officials have received several tips amid calls for people in the area to check their surveillance camera, but so far none have turned out to be credible. According to Widener, the K-9 teams have not been able to find any scent leading to Sebastian either. You guys know how I feel when there is no evidence. That to me implies cleanup. I'm sorry, it does, because there should be some evidence of this child. He didn't just evaporate. Yet it appears he just evaporated. Several community members and organizers have coordinated donations of water and Gatorade, and that was from Premier Events Center, good organization. Thank you for their service during this time. I mean, is there a video with this one? Hold on, let me see if there's a video with this one, because this might be the video that. No, there's no video here, because there was one that has a video that. Oh, it does. Here it is, right here. Let's skip ad. This might be it. Where the. Not giving up. Let's see. Sorry. You guys can't see that? It's not pulling up for me. Oh, sorry.
We're also told he's been without his medication for days. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office says they're not giving up on the search for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers.
If a searcher finds something, they mark it. We send a detective or detectives to that scene or to that area. And if they find evidence, we haven't found any evidence. But if they find something that they think is substantial, CID investigates it.
Sebastian is autistic. Investigators think he walked away from his home off Stafford Court early Monday morning. The search including helicopters, canines, and boats. Sebastian's family not speaking to the media.
The family's been
Wow.
nothing but cooperative with law enforcement and our investigation. We are truly operating under.
I'm sorry, but a child missing and the family won't talk to media. It's just very perplexing. Once again, we haven't gone through all of the videos that I have here, all of the information. For those that know, we are going back to the beginning. We're going to start this case from scratch. We're going to build it again. We're going to see if new information is derived from all of this. If you see something you didn't notice, maybe it's something we missed. Send me an email at bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. We have got to find Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. It's been 7 months, darn near 7 months. He went missing on February 26th. He was last seen on February 25th. And there are no videos and no scent to prove or disprove whether this child walked out of this home. Something to drink after 7 months. They want asking people to look when everybody has been threatened. Yeah, I know. I know. But it's kind of funny. There is I hear there's a new change of heart. Interesting. We're going to continue to do our work on this case. We're going to continue to advocate for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. We're going to continue to tell you guys the fact, this is the good and the bad and the ugly. And I don't care whether or not law enforcement tells me that it's one way or another. I have a brain. I've been part of criminal investigations and following criminal investigations for many years. We know the protocols. And we're sick of the lies. This is absolutely a criminal investigation. And there's absolutely evidence of foul play. I'm sorry. That flashlight evidence that they tried to pass off as a garbage truck was horse manure. We can clearly see a car, a vehicle there, that turns on its lights as these light sources are walking toward it. Now, sorry, I'm not a dumb blonde and have no thought of my own, but here we are. And to date, to the best of my knowledge, we do not have forensics. No scent. Exactly. No scent. I have no idea, Amy. I don't know what funerals were, people were going out to graveyards as well. And there was a young boy about Sebastian's age that was found in one of those graveyards. And it made us all freak out, but it was not Sebastian. We need Sebastian Rogers brought home. Anybody that has any information to lead to his whereabouts is in line for $100,000. We want to bring this boy home. If this channel gets $100,000 because we find information that leads to his whereabouts, his dad gets $100,000. Because we don't keep money for doing the right thing. 7 months and nothing. Absolutely. I really do recommend that all law enforcement across Tennessee, except the small departments that it would break. One, the smaller departments, they need more funding. But everybody needs to have a public information officer, period. This is Hendersonville. They've had a few high-profile cases. They should have a public information officer. It's what's needed. This case wouldn't be so chaotic right now if they had some more communications. I don't think it's unreasonable to have some facts of this case or have them come out, especially in all this chaos, to clarify the facts, just like Moscow Police Department did. Anyways, guys, this is the end of the show. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to try at least either morning or night. I'm not going to do this type of broadcast every day because this is a lot to bring up. It's a lot. It's easier on my phone. And not only that, but I'm always having technical issues on the computer. I never have technical issues on my phone. So there is that. And but I will try to bring it because I know this fits most people's, TVs and is a lot more, user friendly for people that use computers and stuff like that. But it is a lot of very time consuming in a time when I really don't have a lot of time. So I'm doing my best. We'll get back to a regular show on our regular program, on this platform so we can share stuff and you guys get to see it crystal clear as opposed to my phone. But this is what it is. Anyways, guys, I want to thank everybody here. I just want to go through all of the beautiful souls. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much for the gifted membership. If you guys received your gifted membership, please don't forget to tell the person that gifted it to you. Thank you. Thank you goes a long ways. I think that's about it. We still have 1, 2, 3. I still have like 5 more tabs up here, but for whatever reason, I didn't get to them. My commentary went on a little longer. So we'll pick up this again tomorrow and keep going down this path. This path is very important that we get back on it, make it about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, get back to the information. I'm still going to have my opinions. I'm still going to have my criticism. That's not going to go away because, again, answers need to be had. Answers need to be had. This child did not just disappear out of his bed. Just didn't happen. We'll start getting into the interviews after we get through all of this information. It's all going to go in order. It's going to go, like right now, we're at February 29th. When we get to March 3rd, we're going to be playing the interviews. We're going to watch everything going on as it was going on in timeline order. So we all have a great concept of exactly what happened and when those things happened. So if you guys see things in these clips, make sure you email them to me. If it pops in your mind, it will pop in our audience mind. There are people that have reached out to me about the shirts. There is still Sebastian Rescue Ride shirts available. If you are interested in a shirt, if anybody's coming to the court hearing, I really would love for everybody to be in a matching shirt. However, there are limited size. Some of the sizes have limited shirts, so you are going to have to reach out to me, and I'll give you the instructions. I've got the instructions. Several people reached out, and I've already provided them the instructions for how to order the shirt. If you guys are interested in it, or you just want to donate to Michaela's Motel, you can do that directly on their website, or again, you buy the $25 shirt, 100% of the proceeds is going over to Michaela's Motel. The shirts should have been sold, but with everything going on with court, that all got delayed. And so now we still have some shirts available for those. I know many people were wanting one. They're $25. They're of great material. They're not a cheaply made shirt. I will tell you that. We've got color on the front and the back, I believe. I think it was two-sided shirt. I got to find my shirt. But either way, it was a great quality shirt. I remember how soft the material is, and it's like, it feels like that sweat wicking, water wicking, whatever wicking type of shirt it is. All I know is it was a comfortable shirt and I stayed cool in it. That's all I can tell you. But if you want it, reach out to bullhornbetty@gmail.com. We've already sent 5 or 6 emails out for instructions on how to purchase the shirt. If you're interested, I will get you those instructions. All right, guys, God bless. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe. But more importantly, let's not be part of the problem and start being kinder to one another, unless they deserve it. Okay, I'm just joking. Be kind to one another. God bless. I'm having a problem with this and I don't know why. Have a great night.